Investigation into Jos school collapse underway as federal government sets up committee. Over 140 Niger farmers and their families still in captivity 53 days after abduction as bandits demand outrageous ransom. Governor Abba Kabir signs new law creating 3 second-class emirates in Kano. On the foreign scene, Kenya police fire tear gas as crowds call for President Ruto's resignation. Many thanks for joining us on Trust TV's News Hour. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. We start in Plateau State as the federal government has established a high-powered committee tasked with the investigation of the cause of the collapse of Saints Academy building, which tragically resulted in the deaths of students and teachers in Jos North local government area of Plateau State. Now, the two-story building collapsed on Friday, July 12, claimed the lives of 22 school children and causing injuries to several others. Here's Trust TV's Ado Musa with more on the story.
More than 200 secondary school children were trapped in the incident, a situation that led to the closure of the school by the state government. Concerned by the tragedy, the Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Uche Geoffrey, approved the constitution of the Building Collapse Investigation Committee for the school. Inaugurating the committee in Jos, the Director General and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Building and Road Research Institute, North Central Zone, said the committee has commenced investigation into the incident, adding that preliminary findings have some inadequacies with the building.
The committee has commenced its investigation already. Immediately the building collapsed, the committee was constituted and they have started working. In the bid to carry out their assignment, preliminary investigation revealed that 1. The physical observation of the building, from physical observation, the building looked distressed. 2. The quality of concrete is in doubt because there is no bonding between the concrete and steel when the building collapsed. There was a total disintegration between the concrete and the steel, implying that the material used, especially concrete, is a weak material. 3. The slab reinforcement anchorage provided was inadequate. From the slab, they were able to investigate the anchorage, which is expected to go to a certain length as U-bar. It was drastically inadequate. 4. The sizes of the footing. The footing is the foundation. The one provided in the building was lesser than the required minimum.
According to the Director General, building collapse incidents in Nigeria have become alarming, hence the need for Nigerians to take caution in order to prevent further occurrences.
We can report any signs of building distress. If you see a crack, if you see sagging of floors, sagging of elements, you need to report it to the authority immediately. Demand quality construction materials and practice. Support building code enforcement. And we should prioritize safety over cost and speed.
Speaking during the inauguration, Chairman of the committee promised to uncover the causes of the school building collapse within the time frame of the investigation.
If we do our work, if we do what we ought to do, indeed, these buildings will be saved. Indeed, we indeed, as a committee, promising that we are going to do our best, we will unravel the reasons why this particular building in question collapsed, and we will definitely work within the time frame, and we will definitely unravel the reasons why it collapsed.
The Research Institute said reports have over time shown that poor construction material, inadequate structural design, lack of enforcement of building regulations, among others, are the causes of building collapse in Nigeria. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Residents of Kunchi, an agrarian community in Munya local government area of Niger State, have voiced their distress over the prolonged captivity of 148 farmers 53 days after the bandits raided the community and abducted them. The bandits, numbering over 100, seized the farmers, including pregnant women and children, and have demanded ransom for their release. A local resident of the community lamented that some captives have tragically died in custody. Those who were released revealed that the bandits collected ransom payments before informing families of the deaths of their loved ones. The local resident who spoke to newsmen highlighted the bandits' demand for 2 million naira and a Honda motorcycle for each captive, emphasizing that as farmers without access to their farms, they lack means to raise such amounts. He further disclosed that the informants within the community have sabotaged negotiation efforts by revealing wealthy family members to the bandits, resulting in increased ransom demands. Residents have appealed to the government to intervene, particularly in securing the Dangunu River Bank, a known crossing point for bandits into Munya local government area from Kaduna State. The spokesperson of the Niger State Police Command assured residents of ongoing efforts by the police in collaboration with the military to rescue the victims through a coordinated operation spanning across Niger State and Kaduna State. Well, a little earlier, I spoke to Trust TV and Daily Trust reporter Abubakar Akote, who gave us an update on this development.
One thing that has stirred the rescue efforts of communities of their loved ones that are being in captivities for over a month is their inability to pay the millions of naira ransom demanded by bandits and motorcycles that bandits have also requested to be provided. Many of them claimed, said they are out of farms and their major occupation is farming, and which is their means of livelihood through which they will have raised money to pay this ransom. But unfortunately, for many years now, they have not been able to farm. So making it difficult for them to raise money, and no help is coming from either direction, whether from government or well-to-do individuals to help them.
What do we know about the ongoing negotiations since these ransom demands have been made? It's been over 50 days now. What is the community saying regarding how they're trying to secure the release of their loved ones?
The communities, the families of the victims have said that each family negotiates on behalf of their own loved ones. Of recent time, the negotiations are done secretly because they realize that when they gather to negotiate with the abductors, the informants within communities do tell the kidnappers of families that are well-to-do, and then tell them to increase the ransom. So which force many of them now to resolve that each family should negotiate for their own loved ones.
Right.
So when bandits call, based on the numbers provided by loved ones that are with them, so each family negotiate. But they said the amount demanded by bandits have ranged between 1 million and 2 million naira per individual and a motorcycle, preferably, according to them, Honda motorcycles, which they have not been able to provide. And they are helpless, as they said. Right now, most of them are in circuit power. Some are living in rented houses. Some are living with their relations. One of the districts said, told me that when I asked whether they have IDP camps where they live, he said there was nothing like IDP camps. For them, they are living with their relations, while some have rented houses, and even though they are struggling to pay for the houses they have rented.
Right. Akote, just before you go, what can you tell us about the Dangunu River Bank that is notorious as far as access to some of these communities to bandits are? What can you tell us about that strategic location and whether or not the security agencies are doing something about this point of access?
The Dangunu River is a border community. It's a river that divides Niger State with Kaduna State. And when the water rises, the bandits find it difficult to cross over to Muya, where to carry out attacks. But when the water level is low, they easily cross. That's the area the communities have said that government should be able to put security agencies there so that when to prevent bandits from crossing. Because during rainy season, that's why the attacks in Muya is especially very low, because once the water level is high, they find it difficult to cross. But once the water level subsides, they cross easily, and they follow their normal route through communities to Kuchi, which extends to as far as Paikoro, the other local government where they normally attack communities. But so right now the water level is high, so they are not. That's why they have not been able to cross for some weeks now. The communities are calling on government to ensure that that river bank is condoned by security agencies so that they will not be able to cross over to them, and that will also help them to return to their farms and continue with their farming activities.
Abubakar Akote there providing context to the recent development in Niger State with regards to the abduction of 148 persons, most of them farmers and their family members. In other security-related news, bandits on Sunday killed 4 people and abducted 150 others, including 2 babies at the age of 6 and 8 months in an attack on Dan Isa village in Kauranamoda local government area of Zamfara State. Dan Isa is situated less than 14 kilometers from Gusau, the Zamfara state capital. The attack reportedly happened just a week after 46 residents of Dogonkade were released by bandits following alleged payment of ransom. A resident of the area whose wife and son were abducted confirmed this development to newsmen. The resident said the bandits stormed the village around 3 p.m. on Sunday and operated for 6 hours. According to him, the bandits arrived on about 150 bikes, each carrying 3 people, and began shooting sporadically, causing residents to flee to safety. When contacted, the Zamfara State Police Commissioner Muhammad Shehu said the police had not received any information about this attack. Elsewhere, the Nasarawa State Police Command has arrested a suspected armed robber, Aliu Danladi, in the Masaka area of Karu local government area. This was disclosed at the command's public relations officer, Ramhan Hansel, in a statement issued to journalists on Tuesday in Lafia. Hansel reported that the suspect was found in possession of 2 locally made pistols, 3 cutlasses, 3 cartridges and charms. The suspect has reportedly provided valuable information that is aiding the police in its investigation. According to the police spokesperson, on the directive of the State Police Commissioner, the case has been transferred to the State Criminal Investigation Department in Lafia for further investigation. And in Akwa Ibom, the police on Tuesday said that gunmen had abducted a driver and 18 passengers in the state. The incident occurred last week along the Azumini boundary between Akwa Ibom, and Abia states. According to the police, the bus had departed from its terminal in Uyo, passing through Ewukem in Etim Ekpo local government area of Akwa Ibom state before being intercepted by the abductors in the Azumini area. Eyewitnesses recounted that the gunmen halted the bus by firing shots sporadically. Additional assailants emerged from the bushes, escalating the situation with more gunfire. Reports indicate that all passengers were instructed to disembark from the vehicle under the threat of death if they refused to comply. The Akwa Ibom State Police Relations Officer, ASP Timfom John, confirmed this development in Uyo on Tuesday. Additionally, the police acknowledged an armed robbery at the Akwa Ibom State Newspaper Corporation, publishers of the Pioneer newspaper located on Information Drive in Uyo, where a security guard was killed. The police spokesperson assured the public that the police are actively working to apprehend the perpetrators of the attack. The governor of Kano State, Abba Kabir Yusuf, has signed into law a bill establishing 3 second-class emirates in the state. The Kano State House of Assembly passed the Kano State Emirates Council Establishment Bill 2024 after it successfully scaled third reading on Tuesday. Sponsored by the Deputy Speaker of the Kano State House of Assembly and member representing Rimingado Tofa State Constituency, Muhammad Bello Bututu, the bill provides for the establishment of Kano as a first-class emirate and additional second-class emirates in Rano, Gaya and Karai. Under the provision of the bill, emirs of the 3 second-class emirates will be accountable to the emir of Kano and empowered to advise him on matters concerning public order, boundary disputes between communities related to land, or any issue that threatens social and cultural life within this jurisdiction. They will also have roles in religious affairs. Section 3 of the bill stipulates that all appointments and activities of both first-class and second-class emirs must receive approval from the state governor through the Commissioner for Local Governments.
Establishment of the 3 second-class emirates, Gaya Emirate, comprising of Gaya, Ajingi, and Ambosino local governments. Rano Emirate, comprising of Rano, Kibia, and Bunkura local governments. And the Karai Emirate, comprising of Karai and Rogo local governments, is a testament to our commitment to recognize and strengthen the traditional leadership structures that have played a pivotal role in the administration and development of our communities.
Staying in Kano, the state government has filed fresh charges against the immediate past governor of the state and the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Ganduje, before Kano State High Court. According to the charge sheet, Ganduje and his former Commissioner for Justice, Musa Lawan, are the first and second defendants. They are being accused of criminal conspiracy contrary to Section 96 and punishable under Section 97, criminal breach of trust contrary to Section 311 and punishable under Section 315, criminal misappropriation contrary to Section 308 and punishable under Section 309 of the Penal Codes as amended. No date has been fixed for the commencement of the trial. In Nasarawa State, the House of Assembly has expressed its support for the Supreme Court's judgment granting financial autonomy to the 774 local government areas across the country. Speaker of the House, Danladi Jatto, conveyed the Assembly's position during its session in Lafia. Here's Trust TV's Abubakar Abdullahi with more in this report as presented from our studio.
The Nasarawa State House of Assembly decision to back the Supreme Court judgment on the local government council autonomy followed a decision on the matters of public importance brought Musa Abubakar, who is the chairman House Committee on Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs.
By implication, Mr. Speaker, it means this institution is strengthened by the provision of Section 7(1) and the 4th schedules of the Constitution. All the items I mentioned fall within that 4th schedules. Mr. Speaker, I am moving and calling on my colleagues to support me to join the leagues of other high top institutions who have been congratulating the federal government and the states for this victory at the Supreme Court.
Addressing the section on the local government autonomy, Speaker of the Assembly, Danladi Jatto, said, with the Supreme Court judgment, there will be speedy development at the grassroots in the country. He congratulated the 774 local government areas over the victory, describing the Supreme Court judgment as victory for democracy. The Speaker also appreciated President Bola Tinubu and the Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, for the bold steps they took to ensure local government autonomy in the country.
That we also align ourselves, National State House of Assembly align ourselves with the Supreme Court judgment granting financial autonomy to local government, that's the 77 local government that we have in the state. We align ourselves with this judgment and we congratulate the 774 local government that we have in this world, in this Nigeria. And we also congratulate all the local government chairmen that have gotten this financial autonomy. And it is our hope and belief that they will do the needful.
The speaker expressed hope that chairmen of local government areas would justify the confidence reposed on them by executing people-oriented projects.
Now, despite an earlier directive from the Kaduna State Police Command banning any gatherings by the proscribed Islamic Movement of Nigeria, members of the group gathered en masse to commemorate Ashura, which marks the day of the death of the grandson of the Prophet. Now, the procession took place along the Nnamdi Azikiwe road, popularly known as Kaduna Western Bypass. Speaking to journalists immediately after the procession, one of the leaders of the group in Kaduna, Yunus Lawal, emphasized that their movement is always peaceful. Lawal asserted that participating in the procession is a right guaranteed by the Nigerian Constitution.
Actually see our procession as a religious obligation. That is one. Secondly, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria does not ban a group of people who profess their faith and they believe in their faith to say it is banned. This is unconstitutional too. And thirdly, we are before the law court. We have taken the government to court on this order and it is still in court. It's not that, Nigeria, once people are in power, no matter what about justice, there's this impunity. They don't obey, no matter what happens. If we are in a civilized society, like other advanced countries, where at least rule of law is obeyed, I mean, this kind of thing wouldn't be happening.
In Gombe, the police has arrested 2 individuals suspected of engaging in homosexual relationships. According to the police, the duo apprehended was during a verbal altercation over payment for an affair. Additionally, the police also paraded another set of 15 suspects for their alleged involvement in food and fertilizer adulteration. Trust TV's Hassan Kohli has more on the story.
According to police, the suspects were arrested in Kambarik in the Akko local government area following an argument over payment for anal intercourse. One of the suspects sustained injuries during the exchange, which resulted in a fight.
Have Hassan Abubakar, 25 years of age, and Jibril Ibrahim, 22 years of age, all of Kambarik quarters, Kumu, Akko local government. That on the 11th of July 2024, at about 22:40 hours, an information was received through one Good Samaritan from that area, that is Kambariki quarters, Kumo, that the above mentioned suspects were caught having an engagement or having a fight. They are fighting themselves. So when they were approached or when they were stopped and to ascertain what is the cause of the fight, it was now discovered that the said suspects were once engaged in a homosexual, that is having carnal knowledge of themselves. So with an agreement that the one will pay the other 15,000 naira. So as the money is not forthcoming, they engage themselves in a fight.
22-year-old Jibril Ibrahim said he was introduced to homosexuality by Hassan Abubakar of Kanbarik, who promised to give him 15,000 naira as a stipend.
ranar Alhamis ina kwance da dare karfe 10 sai wannan ya kira ni a waya ya ce min zo.
I was arrested on Thursday when Hassan called me and asked me to go to his house. He said he wanted to have a carnal knowledge of me, and I agreed because he promised to give me 15,000 naira, but he later denied, so I seized his phone. In the process of trying getting his phone back, he hit me with matches. That is how we were exposed, as people tried to resolve the issue. The police also arrested 4 people suspected of adulterating dried okra.
We have another case of criminal conspiracy and adulteration of food and drink intended for sales. As you can see, this is a wood dust and okra and remaining items where the police, through a good Samaritan, receive a call that there are some individuals who were fortunately arrested. One is Saleh Sahabi, Tahiru Yahya, and Hassan Abdullahi. That on that day, that is on the 9th of July 2024 at about 1700 hours, the above mentioned suspects were processing and mixing a dry okra powder with other substances suspected to be wood dust that they are using to sell people for their consumption. That is for ordinary okoro, this in kubewa.
The police said all suspects were arrested courtesy of information from people. He urged all Gombe residents to continue providing them with the useful tip-offs. From Gombe, Hassan Koli, reporting for Trust TV.
The Court of Appeal in Abuja has dismissed the appeal filed by the People's Democratic Party and its governorship candidate, Samuel Anyao, challenging the decision of the Imo State Governorship Tribunal, which affirmed the election of Hope Uzodinma as the authentic governor of Imo State. The court held that the appeal lacked merit, having resolved all issues formulated against the appellants in the suit. In the same vein, the appellate court also dismissed the appeal filed by the Labour Party and its candidate, Achonu Neji, and that of the Allied People's Movement for also lacking merit. The appellants, who were dissatisfied with the tribunal judgment, had approached the appeal court on the grounds that the November 11, 2023 election was invalid because of non-compliance with the provision of the Electoral Act as amended. The appellants also challenged Uzodinma's qualification with an allegation that his work certificate was forged. While delivering judgment, the Court of Appeal held that the appellants in their appeal failed to prove non-compliance as alleged. The 3-man panel led by Justice Beatrice Sanga also held that the appellants failed to prove that the governor submitted a forged certificate. The House of Representatives Committee on Defense has announced plans to convene a meeting with the Minister of Defense, Abubakar Badaru, and the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, with the objective of discussing the implementation of a presidential directive instructing the armed forces to facilitate the cultivation of lands. The chairman of the Committee on Defense, Baba Jimmy Benson, disclosed this during an interview with journalists on Tuesday.
Benson thanked President Tinubu for mandating the armed forces to also put farming in the front burner as part of efforts to address insecurity and ensure food security.
The president is doing his job, but I think it demands some talk shops by you journalists. So we're taking the initiative. Next week, we're going to call in the Minister of Defense. We're going to call in the CDS to come and explain to us how they want to transform Mr. President's directive into reality. There's food inflation. There's a problem. And if I ask all of you, can Nigeria feed itself with the kind of land we have? There won't be anybody that will say no. So it is just the will and the insecurity that pervades the land. But Yoruba will say, Omo no la rosino. So let the armed forces who protect us, all the vast land they have, let them go and cultivate it.
The Minister of Defense and Chief of Defense Staff are expected to appear before the committee next week, Monday. The 6th Area Council Chairman of the Federal Capital Territory would be grilled by the House of Representatives on their expenditure from Tuesday next week. They are expected to face the House Committee on FCT and Ancillary Matters after failing to show up for several invitations. Chairman of the committee, during a hearing on Tuesday, expressed displeasure that they had been avoiding the invitation to explain how they have spent monies. He berated them, saying their action held the parliament in contempt.
No one can run away from accountability. The Constitution is very clear. The worst thing you will receive is an impeachment. The worst thing you can receive is an impeachment. And this parliament has such powers. Because we are the House of Assembly. The powers of suspension. But that's not what we are here for. We are here, both this committee and yourselves, are to render service to the 6 area councils and the agencies that we oversight.
And what really happened wouldn't have happened. But since it has already happened, Your Excellency, Honorable Chairman, I really want to use this opportunity to apologize on behalf of this chairman.
You have called us to caution us today. We are learning from you people. You are our senior brothers, and we are happy that you have called us with our mommy to appear before you. All we are saying, we are indeed very, very sorry for what has happened.
The hearing was attended by the Minister of State for FCT, Maria Mahmood, and the 6th Council Chairman. End.
The Jigawa State government has enrolled civil servants into its Agricultural Revolution program, aiming to lower grain cost and enhance national food security. The governor of Jigawa State, Umar Namadi, launched the program with over 8,000 state civil servants in Phase 1. Here's the report.
More than 14,000 workers, representing 25% of the state's total civil servants, have been screened and qualified for the program. These beneficiaries are expected to produce 20,000 metric tons of grain, significantly contributing to national food security. Governor Umar Namadi stated that the program focuses on cultivation of rice, millet, sorghum, and sesame.
While supporting the effort of participating civil servants to feed their families and provide them with an additional means of livelihood. The program is part of our overall agricultural transformation initiative, aimed at achieving food security and economic diversification for the state and the nation in general. The strategy involves not only getting more people participating in agricultural production, but bringing more land under cultivation. This initiative is a testimony of our administration and unwavering commitment to the welfare of our workforce and the overall development of our dear states. We also firmly believe the program will help pushing the prevailing economic situation in our country, characterized by rising food prices, which has eroded the purchasing power of workers' salary.
The participating civil servants will receive various farm inputs, including fertilizers, agrochemicals, and farm management capital loans ranging from 250,000 to 500,000 naira depending on the crop. The loan is expected to be repaid during harvest season. Stakeholders say this is the first time a state government in Nigeria has designed a program integrating civil servants into mainstream agricultural practice, joining the farming community in Jigawa to further enhance the nation's food security efforts.
Train services in Nigeria are gradually making a comeback as the government works to improve public transportation management in the country. In the wake of fuel subsidy removal and its subsequent impact on transportation cost, Trust TV's Amarachi Amushi examines the quality of services provided by the Nigerian Railway Corporation in Abuja. Her report.
In a move to elevate transportation costs and enhance the public transit system, the federal government has delivered on its promise. Free train rides in Nigerian capital city are now a reality. At a bustling Idu train station situated in the heart of Abuja, anticipation fills the air. As the clock strikes 3:30 p.m., hundreds of eager passengers board the train bound for Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, ready to experience the new service. Among the commuters, a sense of excitement and curiosity is palpable. Many share their thoughts on how this free train service will impact their daily lives, offering a glimpse into a future where public transit is more accessible and efficient for all.
Metro train gave us this preview of the Nigeria we've always longed for. Yes, where a system that works for all.
We should just follow the instructions because there are quite some instructions on the train, like don't keep it dirty, stuff like that, like eating on the train.
4:59, they'll close the train and it's gone. So I think they should adjust it to like, even if it's 2 or 3 minutes extra. But honestly, I like the way it is. Even if I miss the train, I appreciate the timing because in this country, we need to stick to time. That is just the truth.
A regular train user has urged the government to expand the service into a nationwide project, highlighting it as one of the safest and fastest means of transportation available.
They should keep up with the good work that they are trying to do, and then to see how to connect the train station across the nation. It will really help because train transportation is one of the safest and fastest and easiest means of transportation.
Speaking with a representative from the Nigerian Railway Corporation, we received an update on the progress of the development. The representative also reassured citizens about their safety while commuting by train.
In fact, people are getting the awareness. Sometimes you'll be surprised in almost all the corridors, sometimes like from airport to metro, you hardly even get a seat. So to tell you that people have gotten the awareness and they have really keyed into it.
Nigerians have expressed numerous positive remarks since the reactivation of railway services, but also demand sustainability by extending the rail network to all states in the country. Amarachi Amoshi, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Bean cakes, also known as akara, in some parts of the country is a rich source of macronutrients, particularly rich in protein and abundant in carbohydrates. Now, this African light food, commonly regarded as poor man's food, has now seen a rise in price due to the increase in the cost of beans. Victoria Tokolo sent in this report from Lagos as presented from our studio.
Bean cakes, also known as akara, is made from beans and is a popular delicacy in Africa, particularly in Nigeria. This African light food is often regarded as a poor man's food and is widely consumed by Nigerians either as breakfast in the morning or as a snack any time of the day. According to health dietitian nutritionists, akara contains protein that enriches and nourishes the body system.
Taking the akara as breakfast, we always say that breakfast is very, very important in the morning. You can take the akara with any cereal, pap, ground. It makes the body very light, not as heavy as possible. And you get glucose from this.
The sellers and consumers of akara lament the high cost of ingredients used for its preparation.
This business akara before, we dey sell one akara, 10 naira. The time when this day like 400 naira or 500, 700. But now, business akara don't turn to 50 naira. Some people myself, some area, when they sell 100 naira.
Na small gain, na everything don't cost. I no gain, na small gain. Now, before they gain, but now I no gain. So now please don't.
I'm reaching akara now because the price of akara now is 15 naira per one. Now it's 15 naira. But before they are buying it 20 naira. 20 naira, from 10 naira to 20 naira, then from 20 naira to 15 naira now.
A health nutritionist dietitian said preparation must be done with proper hygiene.
The oil you are using in frying these beans. Now, I want the public to know that this oil, we have different types of oil. Using oil more than twice is not healthy. So when you are frying the akara, it should be used once in order to get the main benefits from the oil, which is source of fatty acid. We have
Health dietitians advise the general public to be mindful of the environment where they purchase their bean cakes, called akara, from, as it is very crucial to be conscious of the surroundings to prevent foodborne diseases such as cholera and other infectious diseases.
In other news, a cross-section of residents of Imo State are intensifying calls for increased infrastructural development across the state. This follows efforts by the state government to dualize the airport road, a crucial step towards enabling night landings at the Sam Mbakwe International Cargo Airport in Owerri. Trust TV's Ajibade Praise tells us more.
The airport road, which connects the airport to Aba Owerri Road, is a critical infrastructure and one of the busiest roads in the state. In addition to serving the airport, it also provides access to the permanent site of the 211 Quick Response Group of the Nigerian Air Force, Owerri, and several other institutions, resulting in constant and rapid vehicular movements. Previously, the road was a narrow single lane, prone to frequent accidents. The state government's intervention has brought an end to this trend. Residents of the state are, however, calling on the government to extend development to other areas.
I must say we are really happy for that. At least now you can go through that airport road at night. Everywhere is shining and the road is good. There's no gallop. We must say that he have tried. May God continue to bless him. Indeed, he has tried for Imo State.
The governor is doing a great job, I must confess. His Excellency Hope Uzodinma is trying. Now I think you can move smoothly on that way, close to the airport. You go even at night, there's no gallop on the way. The road is just smooth and everything is now okay.
Last week, I think 2 weeks ago, that I went to Aba, I saw the road and I was like, wow. So it's actually a very beautiful thing you did there. God bless you and give you more insights and touch other places.
People can freely pass through the road without any disturbance, without any complaint of their car getting spoiled. It's a nice thing, and we really appreciate for that. But we want to also use this medium to say that you should extend it to other communities.
The Commissioner for Works in the state, Raf Nwosu, assured residents that government is committed to ensuring an even distribution of democratic dividends across the state.
When we came in here, there was no way you can move from control post to Port Harcourt Road, from control to World Bank. The Leaf Market was a disaster. MCC Road, no part. You cannot move to Kukumamoha. Just name them. All those places. We are like war zones, but by very strict management of very scarce resources, we're able to handle all these roads and other infrastructure in the state.
While there are still dilapidated roads in need of attention, residents are hopeful that they will receive the necessary attention, just like other roads currently undergoing rehabilitation. Ajibade Praise, Trust TV News, Owerri.
Now, the House of Representatives on Tuesday adjourned plenary in honor of the late Ekene Adams, who until his demise represented Chukun Kajuru Federal Constituency of Kaduna State. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, presiding over the plenary, described the lawmaker as a man of the people who will be greatly missed. He celebrated Adams' life and the significant impact he has had on his constituency and the country at large. Lawmakers also expressed deep sorrow over his passing, emphasizing his popularity and the affection he has garnered from his colleagues.
As we mourn the loss of Honorable Ekene Abubakar Adams, let us also celebrate his life, his achievements, and the lasting impact he has made on his constituency and our country. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family, friends, and all those who had the privilege of knowing him. May his soul rest in peace. Thank you.
Honorable Ekene Abubakar Adams was a very dear member of the 10th Assembly. He was very well loved by all his colleagues. He was a grassroots politician to the core. He came to the House on the platform of the Labour Party, in Kaduna State. And he also chaired the House Committee on Sports Development. And was described by many as, one of those that Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin got very right in terms of his appointment as chairman of the House Committee on Sports.
My prayers for his family are that may the good Lord grant them the fortitude to bear this irreparable loss. And as we speak now, we are all going to his house to offer condolences to his family in his Abuja residence.
You're still watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Let's join Yusuf Akugu for an update in business.
Welcome to Business News. I am Yusuf Akugu. The UN Agency for International Development, USAID, and the Federal Ministry of Power have signed a memorandum of understanding to deepen support for the country's electricity sector reforms. This came as the federal government deducted 120 billion naira from April revenue as the first tranches of Presidential Metering Initiative funding. According to the statement on Monday, the agreement will facilitate implementation of 115.2 billion naira U.S. government grant-funded technical assistance from the power sector development and reforms in Nigeria. USAID Nigeria Mission Director Melissa Jones emphasized the U.S. government commitment to advancing electrification in Nigeria. She added that the agreement is to strengthen collaboration between USAID and the federal government of Nigeria and provide a framework for partnership with other key sectors. Telecommunication firms in Nigeria have committed funds to build more data centers to meet increased internet consumption and storage in the country. According to the data from the Nigeria Communications Commission, since 2019, the country's average monthly internet consumption has soared by 502%. This surge has been fueled by growing appetite for streaming services and other online activities. To support this growth, telecoms providers, who control 66.28% of the country's mobile subscriber base, have begun construction of new data centers. NGS closed positive on Tuesday as investors continue to boost their portfolios. Let's see how the figures went down today. Of course, the top gaining equities there, UCAP there, leading the table there, 10% it gained. Curtis also up there, 9.84% to close at 5 naira and 58 kobo per share. Of course, Suno, an insurance company, also up there, 7.75% to close at 1 naira and 39 kobo per share. Of course, this has pushed up the market up marginally, 0.11%. It gains there. In terms of volume of trade, 368.29 million shares, valued at 7.424 billion naira in a deal of 8,151 deed exchanges among investors this Tuesday. Of course, in terms of top trading equities there, leading that table there is Zenith Bank Nigeria PLC, 57.420 million shares is traded. Access Corporation, 36.745 million shares is also traded. Of course, Jitco, 29.160 million shares it also traded. A lot of attention on the banking sector. You will see, of course, some equities ended on the losing side of the market there. Leading that table is Rest RS down 9.82% to close at 3 naira and 95 kobo per share. Of course, Mark Nichols from the industrial sector of the market, 9.01% to close at 1 naira and 1 kobo per share. Of course, Deep Cap also down 5.77% to close at 49 kobo per share there. That's the highlight of stock trading as it went down this Tuesday on the floor of NGS. Let's see the global stock market and exchange rate data for today. Oil prices declined more than 1% on Tuesday on worries of a slowing Chinese economic crippling demand, and despite a growing consensus, the U.S. Federal Reserve could begin cutting its key interest rate as soon as September. At the London market, Brent crude sells for $83 per barrel. For the open basket, oil merchant offer $86 per barrel. And that's business. I am Yusuf Akogu.
To developments on the international scene, and police in Kenya used tear gas on Tuesday to break up protests aimed at maintaining pressure on President William Ruto to step down. The protests continued despite Ruto making several changes in his government. The demonstrations, led by activists angry over proposed tax hikes in Kenya, called for a nationwide shutdown on Tuesday, even after William Ruto withdrew $2.7 billion in tax hikes and replaced most of his cabinet. Protests persisted, though with fewer people. Protesters want the president to resign, blaming him for poor governance, corruption, and the deaths of protesters in earlier rallies. On Tuesday, police fired tear gas in Kitengela near Nairobi, where about 200 protesters burned tires and chanted against the president. In Nairobi's city center and Mombasa, protesters also faced tear gas. On Monday, Ruto accused the Ford Foundation of funding the protests in Kenya, but without providing evidence. The Ford Foundation denied these claims, stating it does not fund protests and maintains a non-partisan policy. Time now for some sports with Adeni Ajishafe.
The 2024 National Division 1 Handball League commenced on Monday with trios as Idea Academy, Osun, Desert Warriors and others got off to a winning start at the Multipurpose Sports Hall of the Samuel Ogbumedia Stadium in Benin. In the male category, Bende Dynamos lost 21-22 to Chief of Army Staff Shooters in a keenly contested game, while Mindscope Academy triumphed 19-15 over Osun, and Idea Academy won 22-21 over Cherubim Seraphim Academy. Desert Warriors came out stronger than Omo Ogiefo, beating them 18-13, while Abia Valiant won 20-17 against Police Machine. Funad humbled Boko Dream 14-12 points, with Ekiti losing to Omo Ogiefo 21-22 in the female category as Bayelsa surrendered to Osun 17-19. And in basketball, Nigeria's women's basketball team D Tigers has been rated in the 12th position in the latest power rankings ahead of Paris Olympics, indicating that the team has solid status as the top-ranked team in Africa. The power rankings, different from the FIBA rankings, is the calculation of team strength relative to other teams that will compete at the Olympics. The United States of America maintained the pinnacle of the world rankings on #1 sport. And in football, Beyond Limits Football Academy of Nigeria pulled off another 5-star performance, beating Rosenborg Ball Club 5-2 on Tuesday at the ongoing 2024 Gothia Cup in Sweden. The dominant performance follows their emphatic 5-1 victory over GIF Sundsvall on Monday. Muideen Olude opened scoring for Beyond Limits in the 6th minute, while Rosenborg equalized 6 minutes later. Isaac Chukwudi and Orelua Agbenla found the net within 2 minutes, putting the Nigerian team in control at 3-1 by 15th minute. Rosenborg pulled one back before half-time, keeping the scoreline at 3-2 to end the first half. Taiwo Cole restored the 2-goal advantage in the 44th minute, followed by a clinical strike from Tohib Abiodun 4 minutes later, sealing victory for the Nigerian club. Beyond Limits will now set their eyes on facing Swedish giant IFA Gothenburg on Wednesday. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
And that is the size of our bulletin for you tonight. Thank you most kindly for joining us. As always, we encourage you to stay in touch by following us across our social media platforms. Also, visit our website, trusttv.com, for the latest news, programs, and documentaries. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. From myself and the rest of the team, thank you for your time tonight, and good night.